Hello everyone, shorter video this time. I want to talk about 5 tricks in Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time that most people probably don't know, since I didn't know some of these earlier and they're new to me too. You may have seen at least one of these in my previous videos too, but in case you haven't, let's check them out. You can use a Scarab to exchange power tanks for sand tanks if you have an excess of power tanks but not enough rewinds. Stab a Scarab with a dagger and launch it, then let it fall onto its back. This lets you retrieve it on the ground, which is normally something you can never do. Very situational, but it can help. In this example, I have no rewinds. Using Scarabs, I trade one for the other, and then when I mess up this jump a minute later, I can rewind, since I made sure to get a sand tank from the Scarabs. I covered this in my previous video, but if you try to jump over blues like spears or generals, they won't allow it and you'll take damage. The thing is, you can make them vaultable if you enter slow motion before the vault. There is a less efficient and a more efficient way to use this, which I'll talk about now. If you retrieve a sand creature, your slow motion will end early. Instead, the most effective way to use slow motion when vaulting is to do one vault knockdown, so you don't exit slow-mo, and then do a second vault that ends in a retrieve. This will slip you back out of slow-mo and let you finish the enemy on the ground, giving you back one complete power tank. This means that technically this way of countering blues can be more efficient than using a stun launcher, since you're getting back all of your resources instead of just half. It's easier to control big groups using a stun though, so it still has lots of value. Columns have auto-targeting to help the player reach them when you eject away from a wall toward one. While the intended use for this is to prevent needing to be extremely precise, there is a creative use for it if you let the auto-targeting help you reach columns in situations that let you skip slower movement. In the prologue you can run on this wall, wait until the prince is past this curtain and then jump, and he'll try auto-targeting the nearest column. However, because of his height and how high up the jump places his body, he ends up grabbing this railing instead, letting you bypass a few jumps and rotations. Climbing the Tower of Dawn here, you can jump right at this wall and kick off of it to diagonally auto-target this column, which is faster than lining yourself up for it the normal way. Look out for more places where you can auto-target columns like this. One time I use it during my no upgrades run is here, since I know the prince will likely grab it without any issues. You may have done this one by accident a few times and not really known how. Power attacks or strong attacks are done by double tapping your movement toward the enemy and then hitting your sword button. On a controller you would flick the stick toward the enemy twice, and on the second time press your sword button. The prince will leap into the air and chop downward with a vicious slash. This is the same animation you do when you're knocking down a slumped enemy. This tends to instantly knock down most enemies who don't block it, so if you can bait out an attack and hit them then, it can be really good. This is one way to fight blues who block vaults if you don't have resources. In combat, whenever your weapons are out, the prince will always try to face the nearest enemy, and all of his movements will pivot around them, including your dodge button. This can be really inconvenient, so if you're trying to go to a specific place in a fight, use your drop or sheath button to put your sword away, run to where you want to be, and then press attack to equip your weapons again. This is useful to know, and it'll help you move more precisely and more quickly in certain fights, like when you're trying to finish a specific enemy or get to Fakyy really fast. Also, a benefit of not having your swords out is that your roll button will always roll and you will never accidentally vault an enemy. Obviously this is really great when you're avoiding being countered by blues. That's it for this video, short and sweet this time, but I wanted to talk about these because I find these little tricks really cool, and since I didn't know them, lots of you probably didn't either. If you knew everything here, then you're a hardcore Prince of Persia fan and I love you. Thanks for watching, and may the night keep you safe.